What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another MCU review. We're in the next phase of 4 movies. Rodney was with us. He went to take a piss, and he never came back. He pulled a Josh, and now we're going to have to think on the fly and figure out his parts, because, you know, we normally have scheduled parts, and we're on the fly, as I said, so we'll see how that goes. But without further ado, we'll jump into the first movie, and the movies we will be doing is Iron Man 3, Guardians of the what's next? It's actually Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and then 2, Volume 2 to be exact. But like I said, without further ado, let's jump into Iron Man 3.
All right, so the plot reads, plagued with worry and insomnia since saving New York from destruction, Tony Stark now is more dependent on the suits that give him his Iron Man persona. So much so that every aspect of his life is affected, including his relationship with Pepper. After an enemy known as the Mandarin reduces his personal world to rubble, Tony must rely solely on instinct to avenge his losses and protect the people he loves.
Oh yeah, and look at Josh, dude. He's got that middle spot, so the pressure's on.
Good job,
He's gonna hold it on.
This movie clocked in an hour, 52 minutes.
Shut up.
Came out in 2008.
You gonna ask us? You gonna let us guess budget and stuff?
Wait a second.
If I knew it. So he don't have Rodney shit, and he also doesn't have his shit.
This came out in 2013. Sorry.
The first one came out in
Is that the budget? 2013?
budget?
No, budget.
Budget is $300 million.
Okay.
The budget for this movie is $250 million.
200 million.
Like I said, $200 million.
Gross.
So this gross.
Nothing gross about it.
I think this, if I remember correctly, capitalized on the Avengers, and it grossed $1.1 billion.
Not even.
670 billion. That is my final answer.
Pretty sure it was over $1 billion.
Dude, it's 1.2
Is it really?
billion. Good job.
Good job, dude. Good fucking job. Nice. And we got the
this
year.
Is Rodney's part.
Rodney.
Yeah, we do not
noms?
have awards and noms since Tyler hit the button, and we're not prepared for that. But I'll talk about some actors and characters. We have Robert Downey Jr., who was replaced in this movie by the guy that played in Tropic Thunder. New people we have in this movie, of course, we have Don Cheadle, Jon Favreau, Gwyneth Paltrow, all those greats. But we also have Ben Kingsley in this movie as the Mandarin, or so we think. Spoiler alert. We'll talk more on that. I've got a lot to say about that. And Guy Pearce, dude. Just piercing the screen with his piercing good looks. Yeah, solid actor. Was he a great villain in this movie, though? Remains to be seen, doesn't it? But yeah, same old faces for the most part. That's 2 big ones that got added into the mix that, on paper, I love. Yeah. So, let's jump into favorite character. I'll just start this off by saying my favorite character is Iron Man. And this is actually, I think, my favorite Iron Man portrayal. Shockingly enough. I really love Iron Man in this movie. I don't know if I want to say the biggest reasons why. I kind of have that in the additional points, but fuck it, I'll go ahead and say it. I think it's really refreshing in this movie. I think it's a great thing that they added to see Iron Man not his just total cocky self. I like seeing Iron Man vulnerable for a change. I thought that was interesting.
Because I differentiate Iron Man from Tony Stark.
100%.
That's what I was going to say. I like Iron Man in this movie, not necessarily Tony Stark, because I feel like they separate them more in this movie than the other two.
Yeah.
Because there's more Tony Stark doing stuff outside of the Iron Man suit that I wasn't a huge fan of in particular. So are you saying...
I like Tony Stark
in
this movie.
Okay.
See, I could see where other people be like, this isn't my Tony Stark necessarily, but like I actually love that about it, seeing him with flaws for a change, because he's so just like this guy that's perfect. Like there's literally like everything about him. There's no problems. There's nothing. To see him take a step back and be vulnerable, it was refreshing to change it up and switch it up, I think. I actually really loved Iron Man and Tony Stark in this movie.
My favorite character is Iron Man, not Tony Stark. I guess the same and different as you, Brandon. Tyler?
Yeah,
Well,
I
you brought
won't
it up.
say Iron Man since both of y'all did.
So
I'll
not
go
Tony Stark.
Rebecca Hall, man. Not knowing whether she's good or bad, And
No,
she's beautiful.
I meant to bring her up actually.
She's so
I
great.
didn't think about it because she was in that like first list. Cause the cast of MCU is so deep. I just looked at like the first row, and she's like not like
so
a main star. Rebecca Hall is one of my favorite actresses, and honestly forgot she was in this movie. So I was like, this makes this viewing even better. She is the shit.
Good thing I didn't say Iron Man.
Yeah.
We all three like.
Yeah, well,
That's fine. I mean, if
we
that's your
switched
favorite
it. I got
character.
Tony Stark, dude. Same person, but different. Yeah, we're just quoting James Franco on everything this week. Favorite scene? I couldn't really nail down one, but anything with the Mandarin. When the Mandarin was the Mandarin.
I think we're going to agree on something here.
Yeah, I was just, like, I was loving it. I don't know if I should bring this up yet. I need to kind of skim ahead in my notes. Fuck it. I don't see anything. This movie is actually really fucking good and my favorite Iron Man. And watching it this time, wait a second. I haven't said my score, but it's my favorite Iron Man. I'll reveal where it stands at the end because I'm not a fan of these movies per se. But this watch, I was like, wow, dude, this one might be my favorite. It was always my least favorite. And then watching it, it's when the Mandarin switches, dude. The MCU,
drops?
Yes.
I hated that, yeah.
The one thing that the MCU struggles with is villains. It is not good. And you deliver this amazing villain.
Like you nailed it.
And you fucking take the rug out from under him and you make him a fucking joke. I can get how, like, MCU, haha, this is funny. No! Like, you had something really special here for a change. And I can say that with, like, I think most people agree that, like, flaw of the MCU is the villains are not that great. Yep. You had this menacing portrayal, and Ben Kingsley, he obviously can play a joke because he's good in the role as like the jokey guy. Like he can do that, but he also is very capable of being menacing, as you saw him when he was playing. You know, he's an actor within the movie as an actor, but he's great as a bad guy and would have been great if it would have just stayed the course. But this is I thought about that as somebody says top 5 when we do our top 5 Thursdays, like plot or twists that ruin the movie. Plot, this would be like on there. Like
we totally agree on that because I
fucking ruined
absolutely
everything.
hated that. They have this perfect villain going, and I just wish they would have kept riding that wave.
Yeah, that's my favorite scene. Anything with him well, just not pre. He was the Mandarin and then wasn't. So yeah.
My favorite scene I have written down was when Iron Man saves the 13 or 14 people from the plane, like when they don't have parachutes and they all grab
writing that one
hands.
That was a good scene.
That was my favorite.
I have 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say name all your scenes, man.
I like the scene when Tony's handcuffed and he fights that fiery girl, and that I don't even know, was it Pizza Hut?
I don't even
that's
remember.
a different movie. You don't remember?
We just watched.
They went to the
Uncharted
bar.
And they were in a Papa John's. Is that what you're talking about?
They
I got
went to the
mixed
bar.
up.
They went to the bar.
I watched this on Monday. It's so funny.
Yeah,
to me.
dude. No, I feel like I remember the scene you're talking about. This is one of my MCU movies I revisit.
It's when they arrest him and he gets away and he like gets the handcuffs up front, then he chokes her and her heat burn it off, and then they get in a battle.
Yeah, I feel like I remember the scene, but I don't remember the location.
It's in Tennessee when it happened.
See, I remembered it was in Tennessee. I didn't remember
Tennessee.
what hut or what pizza chain it was in.
Also, I love the end scene when they're on the shipping dock and all the Iron Man suits show up. I was like, oh, that's badass. They can't lose now.
Dun dun dun.
All right, what's your favorite action scene though?
Final fight scene.
Damn, do you just get middle and you just take my shit? No,
Let's roll.
I want to make this just like a funny joke the rest of the fucking time. I'm just going to make it super awkward.
The final fight scene?
Yeah, for sure.
My favorite action scene was when Tony's house is first attacked. Like when he gives out the address. His address.
Yeah. That's a
and
good
they fucking
one.
blow up his house and he puts pepper pots in the Iron Man suit.
Yeah,
I thought that was a
dope.
nice twist right there. Showed kind of his more human side.
He loves her.
Yeah.
She's always barefoot.
It's weird as
You know why?
because she's a lot taller than
Yeah,
Robert
that
Downey.
was one
But
of the
still,
trivia
she's
things.
barefoot. and
It's
everything.
weird. I didn't really think of that as like an action scene. I'm used to like more hand-to-hand combat, but like it
They're
is.
blowing the fuck
Yeah,
up out of
I
his
mean
house.
that's probably like my favorite more I think about because the last fight I actually like to some extent, but that's what I got wrote down. I don't really like any of the fight scenes, overly like any of them, but there's a lot of things too at the end of this fight that like I don't like, or mainly one thing, but it stands out that bothers me a lot. But yeah, last fight, if I had to choose, or what Josh just said, now that that's been brought to light, there's a fight, and I've thought about it more, and I'm like, yeah, it's an action sequence, not a fight.
Hey, Tyler, any booba-looba-loobies?
No, but I do have my favorite line in the movie, though.
Okay.
Let's give
All right,
Let's
dude,
give this
do
a shot.
thing.
It's when the kid says, "My dad went to get scratchers, and I guess he won because that was 6 years ago." And Tony says, "Which happens, Dad leaves. Don't need to be a pussy about it." I was like, dude, Robert Downey Jr. is the
The
best.
savage.
Yeah, no boobs and butts.
Okay, location. This movie was filmed in North Carolina, Miami, and Los Angeles. And then it takes place there's a scene in Switzerland at the beginning, Malibu, which is where Tony's house is, and then most of the movie actually takes place in Tennessee, which is where he travels to.
Hell yeah. Best unimportant scene for me. This is like something that's not important at all. Obviously, that's what this is, but it was important to me. Like the "I'm Blue" song that started this off.
Dude, I bought that song.
After you
Dude,
watch this?
Yes.
It's so
Yes,
good.
I
Eiffel
bought it.
65. I used to jam to their
I
shit.
know,
And by
dude.
jam to their shit, I mean they had like 2 songs, and this was the
Move
main
Your
one.
Body was the other one.
Yeah, move your body.
That's kind of, but yeah.
Yeah, so wherever it goes, I know I had the
Back
fucking yeah. No, yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking.
Don't compare Backstreet Boys to Eiffel
Well, that's
65.
what he
Yeah,
just
dude,
said.
that's disrespectful to Eiffel 65.
Yeah, they don't like that.
No, I had the CD, dude. There was
did
one
too.
other song that's still really good on there. I can't think of at the
I
time.
can play
but
it
I
right
remember,
now.
I remember that track though. I just can't think of how it exactly went.
I can
But
play
for
it.
me, I remember it brings back memories. Oddly enough, like everybody remembers the rollerblading days. I remember skating to "I'm Blue" like crazy. Like they would always play "I'm Blue."
Such a
Like
good,
when we were
stupid
fucking at the
song.
skating ring, and it was just like I feel like I was on top of the world skating to that song. So when I hear "I'm Blues," not only is it a good track, but it takes me back to that weird nostalgic memory. And even in my basement, I had an unfinished basement. I used to just like play my CDs and just skate in my unfinished basement in middle school all the fucking time. And I had the Eiffel 65 CD, like I said, and I'd throw that on. I'm like, I'm back at the skating ring. It's so weird how some things can be so important to you, and now like I give a fuck less about skating. Even though I bet it's still fun. Me and my buddy went one time, like after high school, and I was like, this is fun, but it's also super weird because every other guy that's our age here is coming off as like a child molester. So, yeah, I kind of stayed out of that crowd.
Any of you all got a dumb moment?
I
off the
got a
top?
dumbest or
to take
cringiest
on
moment,
Rodney's
dude.
place?
I'll just go ahead and say the other thing that really affects this
Oh,
movie
okay.
for me. Gwyneth Paltrow should have died. Like, the MCU, the other thing that bothers me so much other than the villains is the lack of death.
Pulling the trigger.
The certainty of just like ending something. If they don't kill people, and if you do die, you're like, well, there's no stakes. I know they're gonna come back. Of all people, like you can't kill Paltrow. I know she had that little extra shit going on in the movie, but it's Gwyneth Paltrow's character. She's free falling like that. She should have died right there. Like, and that is something I will touch on even more. Why it frustrates me, I guess, later on. But that's cringe to me. I'm like, of course this bitch is alive and walking out. Like, I'm just MCU. Why do you do this to me? Yeah, that'd be my cringe moment.
Goofs,
dumbest.
Tyler? Any good ones?
No.
No, you got any
Well-
dumb ones?
I got 3. When Tony Stark is giving his address to the press, blue sunglasses are not on. When the camera cuts to the rear shot, they're on his head.
God damn it.
How
I'll be
crazy.
damned. I thought I saw that.
This one's weird. Radical differences between altitudes when Iron Man is saving the airline passengers. At one point, Jarvis calls out 18,000 feet, and then only 8 seconds later, he calls out 10,000 feet. Nothing falls at 682 miles per hour from natural gravity. Then Jarvis calls out the last 9,400 feet in 20 seconds, nearly 3 times longer than it took in the first distance. That's Matt. No,
Math?
it doesn't interest any of you. The president salutes when Iron Patriot arrives, the latter is a subordinate and should salute first.
Oh yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I
The
thought.
lesser rank would salute first.
Goofs.
Yep, deleted scenes.
Yes, deleted scenes. We had a few in this one. They weren't that bad, but I focused on this because I thought it was interesting. Is like these were like, it was basically like a slew of deleted scenes. By slew, I mean probably about like 3, but they all connected to something that wasn't in the movie. Harley, like the kid that's around. Yeah, like he has bullies in the deleted scenes, and they just show up and like talk shit to him and all this. And Robert Downey Jr. is like, there is like almost like a father figure while this is going on. And there's even another part of the deleted scenes that had to get cut from the movie because the bullies got cut from the movie, where there's like a fucking like a water tower that falls, and he's got to save one of the bullies, and it all comes around. Nothing that should have stayed in the movie, but it's interesting enough, I think, to bring up because like it literally was like a whole plot that led to scenes that, because they cut that plot, they had to delete multiple scenes in course to that. So yeah, Harley's bullies would be the deleted scenes. What about the ending?
You want to go first, and then you can do your hookah while we say our part.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I brought it up here. I'll find a way to work it
Do
in. It's
a
easier
hookah.
with Rodney not here. Yeah, the ending deliver half and half. Again, it comes back to Gwyneth Paltrow. This movie is really good halfway through. Probably like my favorite Iron Man at that point. But this movie commits the 2 fucking biggest sins in the MCU to me: lack of villain and lack of stakes due to characters dying. And this one rubs that in my face, that being something, like hardcore, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth and drops the score dramatically. Whereas, like, I thought the set, like, does not design, because I mean, it's almost, when I think of set design, I think of actual props. The whole thing with MCU is just like fucking, just CGI'd the fuck out anymore. But just overall, it looked cool where they were fighting. The fighting was like, it was okay enough, not the best MCU, not the worst, but it's half and half because of that Gwyneth Paltrow bullshit. I can't do it. Yeah.
I think it delivers, but just barely. So I guess I'm kind of half and half with Brandon. I love seeing all the suits like you brought up earlier. I thought that was really cool, but I'm not a huge fan, like I've said previously, of Tony outside of his suit. I want to see him in the suit kicking ass. And then also I'm not a big fan of the actual villain, Killian. Was that his name?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But also it like...
Guy Pearce.
Yeah, how much trouble they had with like taking him down. Like how strong they made him, that all these Iron Man suits had problem taking him down, but normally one suit's taking down a bunch of bad guys. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of that. And then like Brandon said with Pepper Potts not dying and then coming back, I wasn't a
and
fan
how
of that
impactful would that be? Like, you just gotta leap, you gotta trust me, and then not and then imagining like Tony later on, like having to deal with like him not getting that done. It would have been a good plot piece going forward.
Yeah, if they would have done that and then kept the Mandarin, like this movie would be multiple points higher.
Dude,
for me.
100%. It would have been one of my favorite movies of the MCU, and now it's like, we'll see.
Yeah, so I'm totally on board with Brandon. Those 2 things really, really, really hurt this movie.
I loved it. No, I'm just kidding.
Those are my 2 favorite parts.
Yeah, I gave it 60% yes on did it deliver.
So
So
we're all just
60%
barely.
yes.
I'm mediocre. Half and half is like 50-50 for me.
So-
it wasn't bad, wasn't good.
On to some trivia. I got a couple easier ones for you guys, since you all usually have trouble with these.
No, give us the good ones.
No, I got
man.
I got some hard ones too.
Give us the best ones.
So War Machine's name changes to what?
The Iron Patriot.
Boom, bingo. You said that like 6 minutes ago, Tyler.
Yeah,
I
and I
know.
actually knew that one.
I know, but
'cause
we're
I
working
remember
as a
the
team here.
conversation. And you should, of all people,
I'm
remember
not-
you just
I'm
said
not
it.
looking.
We're
We're working as a
Because
team.
Tony gave him shit about it.
How many Iron Man suits does Tony have?
12.
The last one that he's working on, it shows the number, I think, multiple times.
We'll say 14.
You all can add both yours together, and it's still
38.
more. 42.
Damn.
Yes,
Like I said, 12.
42 fucking suits. That's
I'm kind of cracking up right now because people haven't seen the new revised hookah. They're just like, what is with this hookah? If they watch, they're just like, is that a trash can? Is there pillows involved? Like, what is this? I don't know why that just threw me off.
This is the only Iron Man movie that does not feature a song by
AC/DC.
Boom Bingo Tyler.
We're on the same team, bro.
Last question from I got more than 3 for I think all these movies too.
That's fine.
The Mandarin
Yes.
bears a tattoo on his neck. First part of the question: what tattoo does he have on his neck?
Snoopy.
A gun.
It's Captain America's shield. Second part of the question: instead of the star that's in the middle of Captain America's shield, it's replaced with something else on his tattoo. What is it replaced with?
Swastika.
That'd be a bold choice. Think about what he stands for.
This like
Anarchy.
triangle things.
The Illuminati? Don't say it.
No, the
Oh, you should have said it.
I ain't saying that shit.
I don't want to be taken down. So it's the anarchist A.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, triangle thing. Yeah.
I remembered it once.
A is a triangle thing. You
I mean, it
didn't
kind
let me.
of is.
You didn't let me finish. You brought up.
I already said
Illuminati.
anarchy.
Tyler, you got the Rotten Tomato scores?
You lose.
Siri, what is Iron Man 3 on Rotten Tomatoes? Let's see if this works.
Yeah, middle of recording. That's perfect.
79.
So tell the people.
79.
79% on Rotten Tomatoes. You got IMDb.
Oh, you know it. Why?
Why you got such a long password?
Now we know why Rodney's never prepared. It's just hard to do his questions.
7-1.
7-1. All right, we ready to dive into our scores?
Is that about what y'all expected?
Yeah, and I mean, I'll just go into my score. Iron Man 3 is probably the least watched of the MCU movies for me, because I've always thought of it as a bad movie, like a bottom tier of MCU.
Yeah.
And like Brandon was kind of saying, this watch for it was by far my favorite watch.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie, and there's just 2 huge problems with it that we've went over multiple times. But this watch for me, it's getting a 7.3, which is significantly better than what it would have been before this watch. But so yeah, it's right on par with kind of right in the middle of what we just set for score. Tyler?
It was my first watch, actually.
Really?
Yes. And
What the fuck?
I'm coming in with a little bit higher.
Okay.
7.6.
7.6.
You do the intro on the next one because I realize I got to get on my phone. I got to wash my hands off. But yeah, I got my score still. I was just letting you know ahead of time. Yeah, for me, it's a 5.8.
You're joking.
Yeah, legitimately. 5.8.
Really?
5.8?
Yeah, it's not a good movie. It was a good movie, and then it just, it's infuriating, those 2 things. It takes
Rodney
me
gave
really
it a
out of it.
3.7.
No, he didn't. I asked Rodney for a score.
He hasn't wrote back.
He has not written back. If he messages back
If
during this
any
podcast,
of y'all
we'll
hear from Rodney, let us know what his score is, please.
Yeah, that'll definitely help one. So on to the next one, Captain America: Winter Soldier. Let me pull up this plot line. After the events in New York with his fellow Avengers, Steve Rogers lives in the nation's capital as he tries to adjust to modern times. An attack on his S.H.I.E.L.D. colleague throws Rogers into a web of intrigue that places the whole world at risk. Joining forces with the Black Widow and a new ally, the Falcon, Rogers struggles to expose an ever-widening conspiracy, but he and his team soon come up against an unexpected enemy. Bum, bum, bum. That sounds like a dope-ass movie, if you ask me.
This movie clocks in at 2 hours, 16 minutes. Came out in 2014.
Budget is going to be $195.
Okay. Brandon?
Nice. As far as actors go, again, more of the same. A couple.
Budget. He's still on budget.
doing
What's your guess
budget.
for budget?
Okay, let me finish. As far as actors go,
That was like way ahead.
no, I did. I was trying to pull it up, and I
My
wasn't
bad.
listening.
Yeah.
To you, just because I was so focused on like getting
What's
to my
the
part.
budget of Captain America?
Winter Soldier.
$3 billion. I'm gonna like this.
170 million. Good job, Josh.
So when we get a little. So this movie, they didn't want to use as CGI for this. They tried to use as little CGI as possible. Which, when you think about it, it's really only the fucking spaceship helicopter things.
Yeah.
It's really CGI. It's mostly hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that. So I figured the budget was going to be low. Okay,
Good job.
Gross?
Oh, calm down. Good
What did it
job.
gross?
What did it gross?
750.
714.
I'm on 5.
You're
dude.
doing
I'm on
pretty
5.
good. All right, on to Guardians of the Galaxy now.
And so he was so on par with who's in this
It
movie,
didn't
and then
really-
we're here. We're trying to figure out who's in this movie, and he disappeared.
That's what I was trying to say, and then you said budget shit. New. It's basically the same people. Some new faces for
yeah.
sure. You get Falconite. Falcon. He comes in. You got Anthony Mackie. That ends up becoming a nice piece of the MCU, so that's crucial. Frank Grillo's in this, which is always awesome. That's a couple new characters in there, and the rest, the other guys. That's about it on
Except
that. Who
Winter
else?
Soldier.
Oh yeah, Winter Soldier comes in the movie, but Bucky.
It's
Yeah,
still
but it's
Sebastian.
a different character, so that's a good pickup again. I'm not separating superhero. Blah 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 blah.
All right, so who is your favorite character?
Why am I on this stuff? I was
Yeah,
about to say.
right?
That's his name, and that's his nickname.
Yeah, Bucky.
Do you like him as
Excuse
Winter
me.
Soldier better or
No,
Bucky?
I was making sure that it was the right
Well, who's your favorite character?
Bucky. In
Oh,
this movie,
that-
yes.
So
Winter Soldier?
Yes.
Okay.
The Winter
Jesus.
So, yeah, I mean, to me, my easy answer would be Captain America, but I think it's always easy to pick the lead of the
Exactly.
movie. So I have that written down, but then also the Winter Soldier. I think he might be the best villain in the MCU.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I completely concur with that. Bucky, Winter Soldier, however you want to slice
Where
it.
is he going? What is going on? There's so many moving parts.
I know, right? Yeah, dude, Winter Soldier's definitely got to take in, dude. He's just so awesome in this movie. And like you said, he's one of the fucking best villains, if not the best villain. I mean, then you have Thanos, of course, coming in, wrecking shit. But, dude, Winter Soldier was so awesome. And at the time, there's just no good fucking villains. And this dude comes in, and before you even know it's Bucky, and just entrance, like when he's hashing it out with like Fury, and then going further even from that, you're like, this motherfucker is who is this guy?
And he doesn't talk.
And you can
he
tell,
rarely
yeah.
says anything. And
He's just about his fucking
his
business,
presence
dude.
on screen.
You don't have to run, dude. See, you got to milk it. No, but you can milk it with facts, because there's always more to say. But yeah, Bucky is just amazing in this, and I could tell from the trailers, because back when this came out, I wasn't into MCU like that. I picked my spots. I didn't even care about really seeing the first one, even though I did, but I didn't care to see it. I just happened to watch it. This one I knew I had to see, because I was like, dude, this Winter Soldier character, I can tell from the trailer, it looks badass. I've got to see this. Bucky. Favorite scene?
My favorite scene is going to be that elevator scene.
Okay.
I
man.
absolutely fucking love that scene, the whole lead up to it, and then I think especially what sets it off is what Captain America says before they start fighting. He's like, because he knows it's about to go down, he kind of sees it. Everybody's getting on. There's like, 15 other guys on the elevator. And right before it goes down, he's just calmly,
He's like, you guys want to get
hey,
off?
does anybody, before we start this, does anybody want to get off? Just like totally confident, like, I'm going to beat all of you all. I'm going to let you off right now if you want.
The lines get out, but he mouths off, and it's thrown off in the movie. That was,
was that a
one of
goof?
The, yeah, it was one of them.
Oh.
But that's not one I used, though.
But yeah,
That
that
was
elevator
too
scene,
good.
then the fight ensues in that small, closed space. Really love that scene.
No doubt about it.
Is that like the office scene?
What's
The
your
elevator scene.
Oh, see, I like the scene where he's chasing Bucky
He's
in the
quoting
office.
shit from the elevator scene. And then no, it's the elevator scene. What?
I was like, was that in the same building?
Like, actually, the
Like, it's a
elevator
big
scene, this is
building.
what happens. What scene was that?
No.
When he's chasing what?
Chasing Bucky in the offices and runs through everything like with ease.
I don't even know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't remember them in the office. I really don't.
either.
This
Was
is Hulk.
Rainn
Sorry,
Wilson
this
there?
is Hulk. No, dude, there's a scene where he's chasing Bucky and he's just running through like tables like they're nothing.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
It's one of my favorite scenes of them. I wrote it down.
It was your favorite scene, apparently. I know you got like 5. Yeah, I don't remember that, honestly. What's crazy, I'm trying to remember.
It's at the 48-minute mark.
Is it really?
I have no idea.
I know, but that's a good place.
Rewatch it in a few months.
Yeah.
He's running, yeah,
For
through
me,
it.
it's when Cap visits old Peggy, dude. Peggy as an old lady, and Cap sit with her.
I was like, are you on a Tyler train too? What are you
No, yeah,
Yeah,
that
no.
scene is impactful as shit,
Yeah.
dude.
Teaming up
And
with
holding the hand and shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
you-
that
Megan's
like
stand for it.
that I don't get a lot. Like, there's some emotion there, and you didn't close the door all the way, Tyler. Just because we're calling
he-
out all your mistakes.
He even says something.
I'm trying to remember the line, but he had
something
a great
about
line.
I couldn't leave my girl
Yeah, my
without that
favorite
dance or
girl,
something.
yeah.
And you're like, oh no.
Yeah, dude, it hits home, dude. It's a great scene to have in the movie. It gives that emotional punch for sure. Yeah, favorite scene for sure.
Tyler, what's your favorite action scene from this movie?
Dude, it's from that movie.
From
You're
Winter Soldier.
stupid.
It's when
You're
Bucky was
stupid.
running through the cubicles.
My best
Rainn
fight-
Wilson was there from The Office.
7.9 for Iron Man 3.
Oh, it was
for
Rodney. Rodney gives it a 7.9.
Is
Okay.
that the highest?
Yeah.
Good job, Rodney.
He's such an idiot.
My best fight was Captain America in the elevator, but since that was talked about, the fight with Bucky on the road in the cars, then they
Oh,
crash, and then it's the hand-to-hand fighting.
Yeah, that's Rodney's favorite scene, and
Yeah, that was the one thing he told us before he left.
yeah, you got to talk about it. What about you, Josh? Is that
So yeah, the two really main fights between Cap and Winter Soldier. That first one, which I love when Cap throws the shield and Winter Soldier just catches it.
yeah?
And you almost see Cap. He's like, oh shit, like this guy's legit. This is gonna be a tough fight whenever we duke it out. But then also the end fight between Cap and Winter Soldier when they're on the spaceship helicopter thing or whatever. I thought that was a good fight scene as well, which we'll get more to that later with the ending deliver.
Yeah, for me, it's the Bucky and Cap freeway fight for sure. But mainly that, but the whole action sequence in general, where he's on the roof and he tosses dude out, and they have to escape by like leaning on like the car door, and they fucking fly out and it skids across, and then it's playing that intense music, and they're just handing Bucky gun after gun after gun, and he's lighting shit up. He's throwing grenades at Black Widow, and she's like setting them
smart.
up. And the way she was running away too just showed like she knew like I've got to get out of here. Like usually Black Widow's like let's square up. She was like in retreat mode. And then when she did attack again, because she's a superhero, she's got to do that. She's got to have at least some type of honor. It had to be off of like, you know, tricking him. And then when fucking Cap and Bucky, dude, go at it, it is dope. This might be my favorite scene of the whole MCU.
On the freeway?
Yeah, legitimately,
sick.
the whole stretch. And it's the hand-to-hand combat. Like he said, it's the choreography. This, like, we got a little bit of that, I think, in Iron Man 2. I love the choreography, although it's brief, with Black Widow when she goes up in there and fucks everybody up.
Yeah.
While fucking Happy's like, he's like, I
He
got
gets
him.
one
and-
guy.
Yeah, that shit was dope, but we got more of that type of choreography in this scene, and it's epic. It's kind of been used even more. They even did that in Black Widow, I think, in that fight in the beginning. Florence Pugh like does the drop of the knife, but Bucky's coming at him, and it's like intense music, and he's like swinging, getting blocked, dropping the knife, catching it, and trying to stab him like that. Then they go into the car, and he's like dragging it, and it's like cutting down the side of the fucking car. And the music, just the scene is so intense. so fucking well done, and you just know from that moment, especially, you're just like, this motherfucker is insane. Like, how are they gonna deal with this dude?
Yeah.
Insane, amazing fight scene, amazing all-around scene. That really was the first time I was like, okay, so this is what the MCU is capable of. Not just the special effects. They can do this type of shit, because normally you don't get fight scenes like this in an American movie where it's this technical and well done, which I can commend that at least on the Captain America and Black Widow movies. They have the best like choreography on their fights.
Which, and then something I was thinking of when watching this movie, when Cap figures out that Winter Soldier is his best friend, like how impactful that would have been in like a real type world situation. Because one, you thought your friend died, 50, 70 years ago?
Yeah.
So you're figuring out, one, my best friend's still alive, and he hasn't aged like me. So think about that shock. And then also, he's trying to fucking kill me right now. Like, what the fuck is going on?
And
like,
they slowly peel it back, too. Like, they show his eyes, and you can almost be like, is that
wait, he
Bucky?
looks familiar.
Yeah, like, good shit.
But yeah, okay. Tyler, boobies?
No.
No boobies. Okay.
All right, moving on.
Location. So this movie was mainly filmed in Cleveland, Ohio. Bet you wouldn't have guessed that. They did film some scenes in D.C. because that's where the movie takes place, and then Los Angeles. And then, yeah, the movie takes place pretty much all in Washington, D.C., our capital.
Yeah.
Praise the red, white, and blue.
Best unimportant scene, if I don't have an exact scene, I just talk about the overall feel of something that's important to me. And I just wrote down doubling down on the choreography here. That was just huge for me. But no need to harp on it too much. I just did.
Any cringy moments we can think of to replace Rodney's?
I don't think so, off the top of my head.
No, I
'Cause,
don't
yeah,
have any.
This movie's... We'll get to scores later. Goofs, Tyler?
In the car chase scene with Nick Fury, there are multiple shots where there are no bullet holes visible on the car or car window. In the following shots, you can see them in the car window.
Which we didn't talk about that scene at all. That was one of my favorite action scenes.
I brought it up briefly. Yeah, because I talked about, like, even when he was messing with Fury, like, but I didn't dive into every little
But yeah,
minutia.
I love that. The whole scene where they're chasing Fury.
Oh, yeah, the music
That was
again.
intense.
They have great, intense music to really kind of bode well with the scenes, for sure.
When Black Widow and Cap are laying low at Falcon's apartment, Black Widow dries her hair, which is wavy and full of frizz. In the next shot, it's perfectly straight again.
Damn hair.
Get ready for goof number 3. When Steve returns to the hospital vending machine for the flash drive, the gum and drive are missing. Natasha appears behind him chewing gum. When he pushes her in the other room to talk, she no longer has the gum in her mouth.
Did she spit it out?
Yeah.
Then it's not a goof. Okay, you're supposed to say no.
She swallowed
Wait,
it.
No, she's
7
it just
years.
it just disappeared. So that's a goof.
Nice. Deleted scenes. There was like a handful in this movie. One I enjoyed the most that they honestly I think could have kept in the movie, but I get why they cut it too. Is Natasha and Fury, Black Widow, of course. It's basically they thought Fury was dead, and they do a whole lot. Not even with just talking. Like you're just seeing like the look, like their looks say a million things. Like Fury has a look like I'm sorry I didn't tell you. And Natasha's just, he's basically coming over to her to give her, I forget what it's called, the thing where she can make herself look like somebody else. And he's like, that's ready. And that's the first time.
See that in Black Widow?
Yeah. And they'd had conversations, but it was like amongst a group. But you could feel like the friction now that they're alone. It like he's like felt awkward. And he could feel that she was upset about that. And she even says just like, I thought you were dead, Nick. And then just like walked away. And it was a scene that I don't think necessarily even needed to be cut. I understand why it was cut, trimmed the fat a little bit on a long movie, but it could have easily stayed in the movie too. I thought it wasn't something like, oh my God, how'd you cut that? But like it would have worked just fine. It was a good moment to really address that because like they kind of like, it's almost like, hey, I faked my death. And it was like, you kind of felt that, but this would have really hammered that home, like how impactful that was.
Which just kind of staying on that same topic, we were just talking about how we hate they won't kill anybody. I love what they did with Fury in this movie, though. This is one time I think it was executed like perfectly. It did not bother me at all, and I actually liked how they handled that.
Yeah, and it makes sense. And they're coming out on Front Street, letting you know that situation as a viewer, and that's different. Whereas, you know, the characters are left in the dark. But when you're leaving us in the dark over and over again, you're like, oh, fake, psych out, this person's alive. It's a different way of executing that. It was essential to this story.
Did the ending deliver, Tyler?
No, not really. Not to
Are
me.
you joking?
No, it didn't really deliver to me.
What? You gonna any elaboration or?
Not enough cubicles.
No, dude, it just didn't deliver.
I'm shocked.
You'll be shocked when you hear my score.
God damn.
Okay.
Yeah, movie fucking delivers for me. 110%. Love the final fight scene between Cap and Winter Soldier, and then the dialogue they have there too, where Cap's kind of like put his shield down and like he's told Bucky like, you're my friend. Bucky starts like just beating the shit out of him and says, you're my mission. And then Cap says back to him, well, then finish it because I'm with you till the end of the line. And like that's kind of when Bucky stops punching him, and you can tell there's like a little sliver still in Bucky where he does remember it. And then Cap falls into the water and Bucky saves him, drags him to land, and just leaves him there.
Yeah.
But, like, you can tell there's still a sliver there with the Winter Soldier. But yeah, this movie fucking delivers on every front.
It definitely delivers. The ending does for sure. I do have like a nitpick for me that keeps it from. I'll talk a little more about that later, but it is that makes it so good. The fighting again is really good that I love with the hand-to-hand combat, and then kind of what you were saying, just the fact that fucking Rogers, dude, I'll just call him by like his name other than Captain America since we're differentiating the two. Like in that moment, he is that guy,
Rogers.
And he's fucking like just the fact that like he is doing anything and everything to make sure his friend comes out of this. Like it didn't matter how much hell he put him through, he was ready to die. Be a hero, what he's supposed to be at any fucking cost to make sure Bucky came out of this. And he didn't care if he lost his life in the process, and you believed it every step of the way. Very powerful stuff to add on with the fight scene, even though I do have a problem with the fight scene. I'll talk about it in my final score, even though it was a good fight scene, but I'll let you know why that's...
Ready for trivia?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. At around
AC/DC.
the 15-minute mark, Nick Fury relates a story of his grandfather having a certain job. In real life, Samuel L. Jackson's grandfather actually had this job. What's the job? It's not an architect.
Doctor.
Janitor.
Elevator operator. That's when they were on
I remembered the scene, but I couldn't remember at all what it was.
Samuel L. Jackson's grandfather actually had that job. What music album does Sam recommend to Steve? It's towards the beginning when they're running around the pond in D.C. He says, listen to this album by this person. And then they play it at the end of the movie.
Michael Jackson.
I can't remember.
Marvin Gaye's Trouble Man. You all should get this one. Which MMA star played the lead hijacker?
George St. Pierre.
George
George St. Pierre. A little bonus question. George St. Pierre, before he became a famous UFC fighter, what job did he briefly work sharing this job with Larry Bird?
He was a big Van Damme fan. That's all I know. That's not the job, though.
Dude, I have no idea. What did he do with Larry Bird?
It's got to be NBA, right?
Not with.
NBA.
Not with as in they did at the same time, but they both had the same job before they became millionaires.
Like farmers.
Garbage collectors. They were both garbage men.
For some reason, I thought you meant at the same time, and it blew.
See, when you say garbage collectors, I think of like Frank and Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't think of garbage men, so I was like, they just collected garbage. Yeah.
Last question. What is Fury's middle initial and name? That's said multiple times in this movie.
I don't remember. I really
R.
don't. J.
What do you think his middle name is?
Roberto.
Jensen.
It's Jay.
Oh,
It's Joseph.
that's easy, dude.
Sounded familiar. I
It's
couldn't
an easy
remember the
name.
name though.
It's Joseph. Okay, there it is for trivia.
Nice.
Scores, Rotten Tomatoes scores, Tyler.
Rotten Tomatoes scores, tomato meter 90%.
He's guessing.
Audience score
That's what it looks like.
92%.
You just guessing, or you?
Those are correct. You can fact check me if
Fact
you want.
check it. He's got to. It's
Do
probably
it.
right.
90% and
92%?
You got them backwards, numbskull.
No, I didn't. Perfect.
What about IMDb?
IMDb.
Perfect.
IMDb is a 7.4.
You just guessing again?
I'm
Yeah, he's
guessing
so
that
good
one.
at guessing.
7.7.
That
So
was
there,
off.
that's kind of ranged
Dang.
a little bit there. I mean, I guess I'll go first with score.
Damn, dude.
Fucking love this movie.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
great.
always been one of my favorites. I mean, I'll just go ahead and say that.
Damn.
Not really much for me to complain about with this movie at all. I'm interested to hear what your problem with it is. This is getting a 9.6, which Rodney texted his scores over,
Jesus.
and he gives it a 9.6 as well.
I can believe it. People go to bat for this movie.
Fucking love
Dang.
it.
It's an 8.5 out of 10 to me. It's a great fucking movie. I have this weird thing with, I'm not even going to touch on that yet, but like something about the tone of this movie. It's like parts of it feel so MCU, but parts of it feel like so much like something else, which is like really cool that they do that. But like sometimes I get so caught up in the something else, like it just your regular action movie that separates itself, that like it almost becomes a bummer at times. I'm like, why is this even MCU? Because like it feels like it is so much more than MCU. And that oddly deflates me as the movie goes on, even though it's also like a plus at the same time. But I feel like if it wasn't MCU, I'd actually give it like a 9 out of 10 because it feels like it's almost above MCU. And then the last fight, what I was talking about with that kind of brings it down. I don't like, I've never really been a huge fan of like the bouncing back and forth type of thing. And it works if you care about, you know, what else is going on, but honestly I didn't really give a fuck. Like I gave a fuck, but given like what we saw them do on the freeway, I was so ready for that end fight to the point where I'm like, when they're jumping, it's like, all right, let's see what fucking Natasha's doing right now. Okay, let's see what Falcon's doing right now. I'm like, have them do their little thing and then cut just like, okay, it's mano a mano, and just have that just in one cut as it. Like I didn't like, it's like right when I'd get into the impact of it, like I was on the freeway fight, it would take me away and I'd be like, oh no, I want to get back to that. It's a weird nitpick for me, but like it honestly does affect me in some way to where it just never could reach those levels, even though the fighting was really solid as that freeway fight. And obviously if you see that freeway fight and you're like, oh my God, just imagine what the fight would be later, it becomes even more frustrating when it's like, yeah, it's on par, but it keeps zapping me in and out of it, and that affects it to some degree. I think it affects my score, those two things, as weird as that is, but it's still 8.5.
What do you give it, Tyler?
Top tier Marvel.
Don't say it.
Yeah,
You
7.2.
fucking whore.
And I'm like, what did I miss that you guys saw?
You need to go rewatch. This movie's like almost perfect.
I know.
dude.
I'm gonna get.
That's
Is this your
like-
like lowest
7.2.
score?
Yeah, that's like,
This is your lowest.
No.
what's funny is that's not just like what we saw, that's like what everybody
actually,
sees.
mine
This
is
is
your
like,
lowest MCU.
you see this as number one
you
on a
just
lot of
wait.
people's MCU's list.
You just wait.
Tyler, you need to go. Did you watch the right movie?
Yes.
You gave
I watched
Captain
the right
Marvel
movie.
a 7.3.
Hey, I gave Captain
6.7
Marvel.
for the first Captain. You just don't like Captain America.
For some reason, yeah.
He's
I
my
think that might
favorite.
be it.
He's like, I
movie
figured
is
it out.
fucking
Captain
I know,
America
I,
is
I
so.
just really don't like Captain America. Movies.
And
I gave Captain Marvel like a 7.9, I think. 7.8 or 7.9.
Yeah.
I think that movie's really underrated.
I do too, but
But yeah, but for him to
What's
flip flop
next?
that.
well,
is
something
a
else we
weird.
didn't really talk much on at all.
Well, just wait till you see my rankings at the end of this. You'll see my controversial.
How did you all feel
sameness.
about the Falcon, him being introduced as a
yeah,
character?
I like.
I don't really like Falcon that
See,
much.
I really like.
I don't.
I
I'm not a
don't
big
really
Anthony.
like
I
him.
just see Papa Doc and it throws me off, dude. I don't know. Like Anthony Mackie, like I just don't really like him that much
It's-
as an actor, other than in Pain and Gain. I loved him in Pain and Gain.
It's so funny because inside of the movie of Eminem killing him in the rap battle, literally fucked up his like not fucked up, but people still hold that against him
His real
outside
name's
of
Yeah,
that
Larry.
role.
he shouldn't. And he
It's so
does a
fucked
good.
up.
He does. Well, that's the thing is like people get caught in roles, and sometimes they can never get out of it. And he did enough to get out of it, but at the same time, he hasn't done an incredible enough job to where like he's passable, he's fine as is, but in a fucking franchise with just like such notable superheroes, he's still like bottom tier to me, and it's like hard for me to like fully get into him. Like if it was just like him in this movie, like even then I don't think I'd like the movie that much. But I'm saying like he gets like overshadowed by everybody to the point where it's like, yeah, he separates from it, but he doesn't separate from it quite enough to where I can't see that to some degree. But he didn't fail completely coming out of that like so many did, but he didn't do quite enough for me to where I still don't see that to some degree. And I think a lot of it isn't even him, it's just the fucking star power around him. Because where this doesn't have good villains in this fucking shit, it's got amazing superheroes, dude. People that can't be replaced, some of them even.
I'm about to leave.
What? We can.
Huh?
Okay. On to Guardians of the Galaxy.
God.
Serious. I'll give you all my scores.
You tired?
Yeah. Yeah, my dad's home.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's hit up some plot. After discovering a mysterious orb in another part of the galaxy, Peter Quill, from Earth, is now the main target of a manhunt led by the genocidal villain Ronan the Accuser. Being hunted across the galaxy, Quill gets lumped together with a group of misfits that need to learn how to get along before they can become the Guardians of the Galaxy.
What? No shway, dude.
You're leaving now?
Yeah. I'll give you all the
Okay.
year.
We want to hit this runtime up?
Yeah, I'm going to hit you. So, yeah, it came out 2014. 2 hours, 1 minute. Guess the budget?
This one's pretty big. 290.
290. Brandon, what is your guess?
250.
170.
Oh, that's it.
Guess how much it grossed?
630.
630 already? 700.
773. Sorry you lost that one.
All right. You want to send us your 7 favorite scenes?
You sure, dude?
We can readjust
Wait till
again.
you get to Guardians.
I don't know how we're gonna do this fucking like on the fly shit.
I mean, they don't. They have the least important stuff in the episode.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Fuck you too, man.
Yeah. Who's in this movie? There's some.
This
stars in
is
this.
like a whole new set of people, and this is like a big thing. I was immediately interested in this movie, not just because of the lead guy, Chris Pratt. I was a huge fan before this. Parks and Recreation. Some people are Office guys. Some people are Parks and Recreation guys. I'm a Parks and Recreation guy. I know I'm in the minority with that because most people go Office, but I'm in that like 30 percentile that thinks it's better than The Office. And I was ready to see him, as like this shredded guy in this fucking movie leading it. I was excited for that. And then the biggest thing with me is I don't get into like the superheroes that are like bigger name and we've seen before. I tend to gravitate more towards the side stories that we might not seen as much, or the shit some people, if they're not deep into comics, might not have known of, like Guardians of the Galaxy. So this movie immediately intrigued me. Chris Pratt was a big reason for that. You got Zoe Saldana, who's, she's a solid actress coming into this. Dave Bautista, to see what he could do. I wasn't sold on Dave Bautista, but man, did that change after this.
Yeah.
You got Karen Gillan as fucking Nebula. She was great. Vin Diesel, even if he just says, I am Groot and we are Groot and all that shit, great. Michael Rooker, of course. I mean, amazing actor. I mean, Sean Gunn. James Gunn's got to have him pop up in a role every fucking time. Bradley Cooper, of course.
That's Rocket.
I mean, yeah. And that's like
Loaded.
the main ones. I mean, there's all kinds of motherfuckers. You got Glenn Close in this. Digimon Hansu, or however you say his name. I always call him Digimon. It might be Jaimon. Guy from Blood Diamond. He's got a role. Benicio del Toro comes into this. I mean, dude,
Your boy. You're forgetting your boy.
which boy?
Action star.
Oh,
Or no, wait, is
no,
that the
that's the
second
next
one?
one.
Okay,
Next
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, and fucking John C. Riley's in this.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so many fucking names, so many great actors
Okay.
as usual.
Well, who was your favorite character out of them?
Drax is my favorite character, dude. I gotta do.
I mean,
He's the fucking perfect. He's hilarious. He's the funniest motherfucker in the MCU. I'm sorry. He wrecks it every time, dude. He's so fucking good, dude. I could listen to this motherfucker all day tell fucking jokes. He's fucking hilarious. I'll never forget, like, I was already, like, laughing at the shit where, like, you know, Quill, and the first time he's gonna slit, you know, Zoe Saldana, Gamora's character, and then slit her throat or whatever. Fucking Quill, Star-Lord, says like this. He's just like, why would I rub my finger across it? It's like, yeah, come on, you know this. He looks at the other guy's like, yeah. He's like, no. And he's like, nobody? Like, yeah. And I was like, wow, okay, like, this is already, like, oddly funny. And then once he's, like, up there and he's just there, like, I think it's Gamora. She's telling him, like, his kind fucking, they take everything
Metaphors.
so damn literal, it goes right over their head. And when he said that joke, just like, nothing. Yeah, he's like, he's like, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it. I immediately was like, dog, he's about to murder this. That might be like one of my favorite funny lines, like in a movie. Like how like serious he is when he says it. His timing is like legit, and I never would have saw that coming. He's so good at like that deadpan almost type of humor. Drax, just for what he did coming on the scene, and all these people delivered, but he was even more surprising to me because I had a lot of faith in Pratt coming into it as much as he killed it. But Drax surprised me, so he's going to get my favorite character here.
So yeah, this has been the hardest movie for me to pick a favorite character because I love all of them. Like the main five are fucking amazing,
They're
and
all
even
flawless.
Yondu, I fucking love Yondu. What Michael
yeah.
Rooker did with him, I
Yeah.
fucking love that.
I know you're going to eat me. Yeah, right.
I wish he was
always
on
comes
screen
back to
more.
that.
I wish they had
Yeah.
more of him in there,
You
but
give him a little bit more in two, for sure.
I wrote down Drax as well. I
Yeah.
fucking love Drax.
I think it's the fact that everybody was good, but the surprising aspect on top of it, I think, gives him.
And yeah,
the
his
edge.
comedic timing was flawless.
Yeah.
In this movie.
He's
everything that came out of his mouth.
Batista's
made you laugh.
legitimately hilarious. I know Rodney, I said he didn't like it, and a lot of people didn't like it coming out. I don't know if you ever watched Stuber, but I think Stuber is one of the
I've
better
got it, but-
recent comedies. And it's got Iko Uwais in it as the bad guy. It's funny as fuck, I think. And I think Batista's funny as hell in that. It's got a great fight scene, almost Pineapple Express-like, where it's just hilarious. Yeah, great shit on that end as a shout-out if y'all skipped that one because you thought it sucked. I completely disagree with that. But yeah, fucking Batista killing it. Favorite scene?
So I kind of took the cheap way out, and I just said any scene where it's like the banner between the main five, because like all of them, they all bring a different kind of funny to the scene, and it just works great. Their chemistry is fantastic, and yeah, any of that banner between the main five is amazing.
Oh, yeah. For me, it's got to be, you know, we got I Am Groot, We Are Groot. This shit almost choked me up the first time I watched. Like, it's still good, but when I first saw it, the impact of it, it's like, but Groot, you'll die. And when it hits them with the, like, We Are Groot. I remember being in the theater, I was like, damn, son, why did that hit me so hard? Such a simple line. The fact that he could change it then, impactful as fuck. Favorite action scene?
My favorite action scene is going to be where they escape from prison. There's, you get good action, but you also get some comedy in there, which I love about this movie. The comedy is just spread throughout, but like
on fire.
Rocket saying he needs this, and this, and that guy's leg, and then at the end he's like,
Yeah.
I didn't need it. Just think about that dude.
It's like, it's
waking up
funny.
without a leg.
I love how they
that
bring
was-
that back later, and he's just like, no, seriously, I need it. Like, whatever it was.
But
later.
then also you actually see Rocket, I guess, in action, because this whole time you're like, does he even have a plan? And you kind of see how smart he is in developing this whole plan or whatever and escaping from prison. I think for like the 13th time or something like that. They say, but
they all have their talents.
You all
in
see,
their dysfunctional way
together as a team. I guess for like the first time.
And that's what
prison.
makes this movie stand out too. Is like it seems like the outcast going in, like Guardians of the Galaxy. What are they going to do with this? And the way they really drive home that point that like as great as these characters are, they're all so flawed, but when they're together they make the perfect team, and they do have standout moments that they not only just have organically but also they uplift within themselves when they're in a group. So good. Favorite action scene for me, it's a little shorter lived, but it's my favorite. Yondu arrow takeout is what I called it. When you first see that shit and he takes out everybody, you're like, and you see like legit, because everybody was like, oh shit.
There's like 25 guys.
Yeah,
and he takes down that spaceship. Thing.
And he would bring it up, kind of like put it like on standby, and you're like, what's he capable of? And when you saw him just go ping, 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 ping through everybody, that's my favorite action scene. I think that's awesome. Just like less is more for sure on that one.
Absolutely. Tyler, any boobs? No.
Okay, actually there was not any boobs. Yeah, you're right.
Location. So this movie is filmed in London, England. It's going to take place in space, the galaxy. We get a little bit on Earth at the beginning, and then we get planet Xandar, which is absolutely beautiful. If I could live on any planet, it'd probably be Xandar.
Yeah.
We get the planet Nowhere, and then the planet Morag, I guess is how you say that. But yeah, so taking place throughout the galaxy.
Yeah. Best unimportant scene for me, something that stands out. I love how Quill, Star-Lord, has like the fucking tape deck where he's listening to music. Like, I mean, that's just a scene within the movie, but it stands out to me because I was that guy. Like, I had that shit, like, not even having a Walkman. At one point, I had a tape deck, dude, like that I would listen to. So, like, that's something that other people don't think about. But for me, I'm like, damn, dude, that was actually me at one point. Like, I had that shit. I'd hit the rewind button. I'd had, like, raps and shit I recorded on there. Yeah. Weird, crazy shit. Goofs?
We don't have any goofs.
Nothing goofy here, we're assuming.
Can you think of any cringe moment off the top?
Yeah, cringe, I can't. Not off the top of my head. On the spot, I probably could find one from any movie, but I normally...
you gotta look for it?
Yeah, I mean, I never look for it. I'll kind of piggyback off Rodney if something, like, really stood out to me. I usually can find at least one if, like, I'm assigned something like that.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top. Deleted scenes.
Okay. For this, there was a few that were actually pretty solid. As I said in our news, I think, I'm going to go ahead and say that now if y'all didn't watch that. I watched the deleted scenes for Guardians 2, but I didn't write it down, and I can't remember any of them, so I don't know how I fucked that up. So the future reference on that, do not have deleted scenes for that, at least unless I think of one. But in this one, there's a scene where there's a little bit more of, like, Gamora and Nebula going at it, and it's a little bit more of their backstory. Like, I can't remember exactly all that was said, but I know she's talking about how Thanos, like, took them when they were younger, and, like, it's just, like, a little bit more of their hatred before it really spills over that I thought was kind of cool. You know, it just gave a little bit more of, like, build up to what would come. And I see why they cut it, trim the fat, but also it would have been fine in the movie. I thought it was solid. The ending, did it deliver, though?
Yeah. I really like the ending. The combination of, like I kind of said before, the seriousness, the action, but then they sprinkle comedy in there. You also get the emotion of the being sad or whatever with the whole Groot thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love how they really hit you with every emotion at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
I do love it.
And the emotion with Pratt, you know, Star-Lord listening to the tape, thinking about his mom and all that shit, like that was really impactful. Ending on all cylinders, even the comedy with the fucking just like, what are you doing?
Ronan distracted you.
Yeah, you big dumb idiot or whatever. And then just watching him like take the sacrifice and think he's gonna die, but then they all come together, and that's just like, yeah, it's perfect. Great ending for sure.
Ending nails it.
3-question trivia for just me.
Some trivia. Which actor or actress stole their costume after recording was done?
It sounds like something Star-Lord would do.
Chris Pratt stole a Star-Lord costume for the sole purpose of having it available so he could show up in costume to visit sick children in the hospital.
That's
He's a
even
fucking
doper.
G.
Yeah, I love that.
Love
Chris Pratt in general.
So James Gunn stated that Chris Pratt's audition was so good that he was prepared to offer him the role even if Pratt couldn't lose the weight to get in shape for the role, joking that he would just CGI a six-pack on Pratt's body. How much weight did Pratt end up losing for this role? How many pounds?
I gotta think about that because I feel like I might have a decent idea the more I'm thinking about it. I'm not as cut as Chris Pratt, but I feel like I was probably about as fat as he was, and I feel like I'd have to take a few more pounds off of me because he's probably about my height. So I was like 260 and I'm 220 now. I'm gonna say he was like about the same.
It was a 6-month time span too. I don't know if that helps you.
I'm gonna say he is cut too. I'm gonna say he lost. I'm gonna say he was my weight and he lost 55 pounds.
So he was tasked to lose 50 pounds. That was his goal in 6 months. He ended up losing 60 pounds.
Okay,
So
that's
10 pounds a month.
I was almost gonna go there, but I was thinking 210 and I put him at my weight. But yeah, I was thinking 200, 210 range, and he's probably about 260. So I was in the ballpark.
So Vin
That's
Diesel's,
my 15. I gotta lose those 15 pounds, and then I'll finally maybe have the Chris
Vin Diesel's
Pratt
iconic line from this is "I am Groot." How many times did he record that line?
Shit, dude. I'm gonna say 85.
Over 1,000
I'm gonna
times.
say he had to have done it more. It's one line, but
So I'm
he
pretty
does
sure
have
that's
different
counting it
variations
because
too.
they recorded this movie in 6 languages. So he recorded that 6 times for 6 different languages, and I think they're counting that for all that. So James Gunn has confirmed via Twitter that Peter Quill's ship in the film is named after Peter Quill's childhood crush. Can you give me the name of the ship and or the woman that he has a crush on?
Shit. I feel like I should know this because Guardians is like the one thing I do know very well. Like more than just like fan of it. Like I'm a big fan of these movies. God dang it.
Okay, so I'll give his ship's name was the Milano.
Alyssa Milano.
Yep, that was Peter Quill's childhood.
I knew
crush.
it. It wasn't
the
syncing up
movie.
though. Yeah, for whatever reason. I was slowing down. All right,
you got
Rotten
scores?
Tomatoes and IMDb scores. I'm going to kick it off different here. The IMDb score is an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Pretty solid, man. And Rotten Tomatoes score and audience score is dead even at a 92% apiece. So can't beat that, dude.
So I'll get Rodney and Tyler scores out of the way. Rodney gives it an 8.3. Tyler gives it a 7.8. And then for me, I knew I liked this movie. It was one of my favorite MCUs, but this watch, I loved it even more than I remember liking it. It hit on every cylinder for me, and I'm giving it a 9.4.
Yeah, what's funny is I feel like my score, I almost want to put it higher because I feel like I've got like some type of fatigue for this movie because I've seen it so many damn times, but I'm going off of this watch, how I felt about it, and I gave it an 8.8 out of 10. I mean, I absolutely love Guardians of the Galaxy. From the moment I saw it in the theater onward. This might be the MCU movie I've seen the most. Like, I've probably seen it like 20 times or some shit or more. Yeah, it's my motherfucking jam. And then additional points, soundtrack, dope as fuck.
Which I read, this was the first movie soundtrack to go #1 that didn't have an original track on it.
That's kind of cool. And then I had Pratt got in great shape. That was cool. You said something about that. And then I actually think Ronan was a solid villain. I liked Ronan. I think he's one of the better ones. He's not like fan-fucking-tastic, but he's menacing, especially in the beginning.
He didn't get a lot of screen time, really, either, when you think about it.
Yeah. In the beginning, he was fucking menacing, dude. Like the way he just came up and then he bashed dude over the head.
When he turns on Thanos or whatever, I know he says something about "I'm coming to kill you" or something like that.
Yeah,
oh shit,
he's a G, dude. He's legit.
On to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Last one, guys. Woo-hoo.
We're running good on time, I think. Plot. After saving Xandar from Ronan's wrath, the Guardians are now recognized as heroes. Now the team must help their leader, Star-Lord, uncover the truth behind his true heritage. Along the way, old foes turn to allies, and betrayal is blooming. And the Guardians find that they are up against a devastating new menace who is out to rule the galaxy. Sounds like a dope plot. Does it follow through?
Oh, yeah. Does it?
You getting runtime up?
Yeah, I got you. I'm going to start with budget because it doesn't have runtime on here. I'll do a quick Google of that. Budget. Do you have a guess what the budget would be?
They went all out on CGI. 220.
It is $200 million.
Okay.
And then the year it came out was, are we doing grossed actually? I don't have gross, so I guess we're not. This is on the fly shit here. Try to make the best of it since people are just leaving. Jesus Christ. Release date. This came out May 5th, 5 days before my birthday on 2017. I remember that. Because, it's around my birthday. And runtime is 2 hours and 17 minutes. A little longer.
Okay.
That might be one of the longer MCU movies, honestly, other than, like, the Avengers ones. They're usually, like, right at 2 hours. And they don't go over 2 hours and 10 that much, I don't feel like. Maybe they do as it goes on. I feel like the ones we've been talking about, at least.
I got some characters up if you're pulling something else up. Same cast as last movie, but we're going to add Kurt Russell as Ego. We're adding Palm. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name as Mantis.
Kiamanatif.
Yeah, sure. And then Sylvester Stallone.
I was about to say, we got to bring up Sylvester Stallone there for sure. He's got to be in the mix. Michelle Yeoh is in this movie, which is great. And Tommy Flanagan, Sons of Anarchy fame. So he's a good ad for sure.
Oh, it says Rob Zombie's in this movie.
Yeah, he's
an
in
Unseen Ravager.
It says he's in the first one too. That's why I was wondering about it. They kind of combined the cast. I don't know if he was just in the first one or second.
Seth Green is in the movie as Howard the Duck. I liked how they threw him in there.
Yeah, it's just wild. They do all that crazy shit. No awards and noms, of course, because we're on the fly. Who is your favorite character?
I wrote Drax again, but it almost feels cheap just picking him again. But he's by far my favorite.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He takes that last role and just keeps building on it. It doesn't lose any momentum. It doesn't get stale or old. Every time he opens his mouth, it's like gold.
Yeah,
comes out.
He might be even funnier in this one.
The whole
I love how mean he is.
It's an uncaring thing about how he's telling Mantis how ugly and hideous she is. That should just
even Gamora coming out just like, you're not hideous. He's just like, are you kidding me? Look at her. Yeah. And then he goes on. He's just like, beautiful people. Like they never know. Like,
tries to flip it as a positive.
Yeah. He's just like, you're lucky. And she's like, I'm so lucky to be so hideous. Like, he's like, that is what I call a practical joke. When he's like, has a fucking pet. Yeah, dude, it's so fucking great.
But also, you get Baby Groot in this movie too.
Dude, I love Baby Groot.
Love him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's like just as good, if not better. It's so good. Favorite character for me, I just flipped it to Star-Lord this time. I like everything he has to go through with his dad, and of course, how I feel about his dad. Like, yeah, it's just, those are my guys, so I figured I'd flip-flop it, but you could flip-flop it for either movie. Those two would be my favorite. As good as everybody else is.
So if I had to pick a different character other than Drax, I would go Yondu for this movie. He gets more screen time. His character development in this movie, we get that 180 switch of him, I guess you would say. He's a good guy and he's a bad guy, and you see the tear between both of those. But
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite scene?
That'd be a good segue to my favorite scene. I just put Yondu's goodbye. That scene is my favorite shit. He's just like,
Well, they're floating in space.
yeah, I forget which way he says it. Yeah, when he says goodbye for the last time and like says to him where he's just like he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy, boy, or all that. It's like, damn, dude. He's like, oh, Yondu, no. Like, and then the whole send off is perfect. Yeah, that.
So that kind of segues into my favorite scene. It's Yondu's funeral, where they look out and all the Ravagers' spaceships are there. Which previously in the movie you see they've exiled him, so they don't count him as a Ravager,
Yeah,
really.
Stallone's.
And now they've come back. They realize, because you figure out at the end of this movie why he really kidnapped Star-Lord, because his dad was killing all the kids and everything, and he didn't want to send them back to that, so he was doing a good thing.
I wonder if they had that in the works too, or if they were just like, this is a good way to like flip it on Yondu.
But yeah, and then all the spaceships there is kind of a touching moment, and then all the fireworks they set off looks really nice on screen, that 4K.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Yondu's funeral was my favorite.
It's beautiful.
Scene.
And I love that scene with Stallone too, where he tells him like, if you think I take pleasure in doing this, I don't. And you can tell Stallone's like, oh, like no, he cares about him. It's just they got to do it. And Yondu is taken as like spite, but you could tell the way Stallone fired back. I think that was a good scene. Not quite powerful, but something little below that, really solid. I gotta add in another favorite scene, pull Tyler. This is like the funniest shit ever to me. I don't know why. This is probably the funniest. Like the over the head thing and this are my favorites. Like the fucking Mantis lookout scene kills me out every time I fucking watch it. Where they all like, or they look like they're done, and they all are on like that fucking rock with everything collapsing together. And it's playing that inspirational like superhero music. And they're all fucking sitting there, and they're all like in their poses, and then out of nowhere, a fucking big ass like meteor or something or asteroid, it fucking hits Mantis in the face, and she like it just like because you're not expecting it. It's already funny as is, and then like 2 seconds later, fucking Drax is like, Mantis, look out! Like, dude, that shit. It don't matter how many times I watch it, dude. I laugh out loud
every time.
Dude, it fucking makes me roll. Like, just his reaction, just like, man, just look at, like, just to, like, say that like 3 seconds later, and then the surprise of like not seeing that coming. It was like God, dude, Drax just murders.
Kills.
Yeah, that shit kills me every fucking time, dude. Favorite action sequence?
I'm gonna go with the Star-Lord ego fight there at the end.
Turns into Pac-Man.
That was great. I love where
where
Star-Lord, where he, I guess, realizes how to use his powers, and it's thanks to Yondu. Where Yondu's getting covered by the rocks, and like his last words before he's covered is like,
"Love that."
I don't use my, or he says I use my heart to control it or whatever. And then Star-Lord,
my heart, boy.
That's when he starts fighting back, and you get some good action. I do love the Pac-Man because he says something about Pac-Man earlier when his dad was like, you can create whatever. He's like, I'm gonna build so much ridiculous shit.
Yeah,
like
I love
Pac-Man.
that shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
So crazy
That was
shit,
great.
whatever. Yeah, that's so good. And I love the scene within that too, where he's just like he's like don't kill me, and he's like gives him that laugh. He's like, listen, like if you do this, you'll be like everybody else. He's like, what's so wrong with that? Like that's kind of impactful too. For me, I thought about this long and hard, but I actually think I like the opening action sequence the best. And I almost like forgot about it somehow. I was like, which one's mine? I was like, fucking the opening is dope as fuck with Groot fucking like plugging in shit,
Dancing.
Music, fucking Drax just like on the inside of him, just dives into his mouth.
Which that was hilarious when he comes out and he's like, I single-handedly killed this monster.
It was fucking great. And the way it played off the opening credits with like everybody just flying around the background and doing all this shit, it was fucking awesome the way it was shot. I love that about it.
What'd you think of that race of people, the Sovereign or whatever it was called?
It was pretty cool, but it wasn't all that.
Tyler, any boobs?
Yeah, he stole the.
No.
He's like, he stole the battery. He's like, what? Come on, dude. And he's like, that's right. I have no idea why they're chasing us. This is a crazy mystery, or whatever he says, or something like that. Yeah, that was great.
So no boobs, as Tyler has mentioned. Location. So this movie was filmed solely in Georgia. That's all I was able to find. Takes place again, like the last movie, in space. You got Earth, which we see in Missouri. We got the planet, the Sovereign, Berhart, which is where Star-Lord meets his dad, Contraxia,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ego's planet, which I think was just called Ego.
Yeah,
because he is the planet.
Yeah.
But yeah, taking place all across the galaxy. Nothing as beautiful as Xandar, though.
Whew. Yeah, best unimportant scene. Didn't really have a scene exactly, but something that stands out to me, if you know me, being the huge 80s, 90s action fan that I am. It's not really a scene, but just seeing two action juggernauts in Stallone and Russell in the MCU is just great for me personally. So, like, that always gives it a leg up, just seeing them in there. Kurt Russell, obviously, having a bigger role, but having both of them, so awesome. And I can't think of a better person to, like, cast as his dad. I could totally see Kurt Russell being Chris Pratt's dad. No doubt about it. Dumbest or cringiest moment? I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I feel like there's definitely some. I just can't think of what
No, yeah, I mean,
it was.
yeah, not off the top.
We're not gonna do any goofs, and you already mentioned kind of
Yeah,
about
the deleted scenes, dude. I didn't write it down for some reason. I can't remember exactly what there was. Yeah, I fucked that up. Sorry, guys. I've had deleted scenes for everything else. But yeah. Did the ending deliver?
I'm gonna say yes, and that's more so after the final fight scene for me, with like Yondu's send off and him sacrificing himself and
The
funeral.
music's great too.
Yeah, the soundtrack again for this whole movie's flawless. So yeah, I'm gonna say it delivers, kind of on a 65-35 split for me.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I love the build up to like Chris Pratt being completely swayed, and then obviously the fight. I think all that was kind of cool, and him finding his power and the emotions in that. Like, I used my heart, boy, and then the ending with like Yondu going, the funeral, even the fucking just like, man, just look out. All that was like a part of like the whole ending. Like, the ending for me definitely delivered. This ending is great to me.
We got some trivia. So James Gunn revealed that he and the producer wanted blank to appear in a cameo before his death on January 10th, 2016. Who did they want to appear as a cameo? They died in 2016, January 10th.
Ah, fuck, dude.
If you know celebrity deaths.
I was thinking action star. And then I was like, is there an action star that passed away? Shit, dude. I feel like every action star is just actually a superhero. Like, none of them have died. So maybe it isn't even an action star, though. That's where my brain first went. It seemed like they were loading them up. Musician? A musician.
I think he did do some acting, it's saying. He was in The Prestige.
Fuck, dude. I love that movie.
David Bowie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
Um,
don't know why I didn't think of that.
So, how long did Dave Bautista's makeup for Drax take for them to put on him?
8 hours. Yeah.
90 minutes.
There's makeup that takes that long,
So-
especially like older makeup.
It took 90 minutes, which is down from the first movie when it took about 3 hours.
Yeah.
put
So
on.
there you go.
It
It's
says,
getting up there.
however, to take it off, he would sit in a sauna at the end of the day and then just let it melt off. So this film marks the 5th collaboration between James Gunn and Michael Rooker. Can you name the other 4 movies?
No.
You should be able to get one.
I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. I know for a fact you know 2 of the others.
I'm blanking. I'm honestly not that good with like directors and what they worked on.
Slither?
Yeah, Slither. I
2006.
I fucking knew that. Love that
Super,
movie.
2010. I don't know what that is.
I love Super. Super's a great movie. I wouldn't even think about
then-
that being James Gunn though. I should have known Slither.
The Belko Experiment,
Oh yeah, I don't like that movie.
2016.
But yeah.
And this was Kurt Russell and Michael Rooker's second film together. What was their first?
Kurt Russell and Michael Rooker.
Yep.
Oh,
Came
fuck.
out in. I'll let you think for a minute, then I'll tell
I
you
know
the year.
Stallone and Michael Rooker's movie.
Cliffhanger,
Yeah.
which they first meet in this movie in the snowy weather, and kind of have I read that somewhere.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they meet and they have a strained relationship. Okay. Kurt Russell and Michael Rooker.
What
Came
the
out in
fuck?
93. We talked about reviewing this at one point and then haven't reviewed it yet.
Oh my god.
Starts with a T.
Oh my god.
T-O.
This is fucking stupid.
T-O-M.
Oh my god. I know this.
T-O-M-B.
Tombstone.
Yep.
Yeah. Fucking Jesus Christ, dude.
That's it for
I
trivia.
don't know why I couldn't think. Like, that was one of those ones, like, sometimes I miss one, but I'm like, I know this. Fuck.
And I had scores up. Well, I did. Where the fuck did
I got it. 7.6 on IMDb. And Rotten Tomatoes, and my shitloads, is another high score. Not quite the first one, but 85% tomato meter, 87% audience score. It's them personal scores, though.
So we got Rodney coming in at an
Personal.
8.1.
Nice.
Tyler coming in at a 5.9.
I knew he's going to fucking do this.
Drastically different there.
Jesus, dude.
For me, coming into this movie, I thought I loved it. I haven't seen it in a while, and I remember it being on par with like the first one. Well, I watched the first one and it raised from what I remember it, and this one fell. Still a solid movie though. I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Alright, for me, I get why people don't like this one as much because it's a little weaker on plot. But at the same time, though, I just love seeing this gang together. They don't really have to be doing much. And then the plot is literally just Star-Lord meeting his dad. I think that's cool. And then just the darkness, like, because I always complain about MCU not going there. But we basically find out that this motherfucker is tricking him and, like, doing all this shit just for his own gain. And not only that, like, he literally put the tumor in his mom's fucking brain. The fact that, like, this is so, like, comedy-driven, but they went that route. The ending with Yondu passing away.
Love that.
And the fact they added in fucking Kurt Russell is like a huge Kurt Russell fan that I am, and fucking huge Stallone fan. Like, I like this one even more, honestly.
Really?
This is a 9 out of 10 to me. I fucking love this movie. It's everything the first one is, dialed up a little bit more, a little weaker on plot, but everything else hits a little more for me.
Solid. We got any closing points before we wrap it up?
Just barely. Additional points? No, I think we about covered
Soundtrack on
everything.
point again.
Yeah, no
Something
doubt
they knock
about
out
it.
of the park.
They killed it.
All right.
Nice.
I'll hit the stop button.
Yeah, I can. Or you can.
I
Here,
get it.
got you. Yes, sir.
Peace, everybody. We love you. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.